ASSANE of Congo 2. Kingdom under the Indian Ocean Part 2. ASSANE of Congo 2. Kingdom under the Indian Ocean Part 2. Chapter 7. The Devil Genetic and Hybrid Program. The main purpose of mermaids and sirens of the Indian Ocean is unnatural marriage. Most servants of the devil such as witches and Satanists get married to mermaids and sirens of the Indian Ocean and they produce children that are Watamami. These children are hybrid demons. The devil is promoting unnatural marriages between mermaids and humans in order to increase the demonic population. The Bible says in Genesis 6:4, there were the Nephilim, giants, in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came into the daughters of men, and they bore children to them, the same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown. Although I am separated from Shanta, I left her with 4 children that we had in the kingdom of the Indian Ocean. However, last year I was visited by one of these children, who is a hybrid identity classified as Watamami. He came physically to see me and we talked. You may wonder how? You must understand that every weekend the dead and water mermaids come to relax and enjoy life in bars and nightclubs physically. This hybrid child of the sea came to see me in order to convince me to go back to her mother of the Indian Ocean. He told me that the dead and the spirits are everywhere in the city, but most of them came to see a Catholic priest. I remember not long after my separation from Shanta, one day, I was relaxing around on the bridge when suddenly a mermaid attacked me. She tried to strangle me. Thank God in my pocket I had salt. When I threw salt on her, she screamed an infernal cry and disappeared, and I felt as if my eardrum would burst. As I was living with Shanta, she was telling me secrets. One day she on time told me, when there was a rebellion of 80 days in your country in 1966, the president of your country did not want to lose the war. His army was pushed back by the rebellion that was advancing and was victorious. As consequence, the authority of your country came to see us. After the signing of the treaty with us, we turned one of your military officers into a woman. He had to sleep in the cemetery for 7 days. As a result, he was transformed into a woman. He went behind the enemy line and managed to seduce one of the generals of the rebellion. When she started to live with him, she managed to gather all the plans and the strategies of the rebellion. That is the way the government of your country managed to defeat this rebellion. You can ask the question, how did we manage to transform this officer into a woman? I told you that this world belongs to us. Even to win an international football game, your government officers travel to our kingdom for consultation. We recommended the national team players sleep in the cemetery. Some of these football players were recommended to sleep with underage girls in order to be able to score goals. Some of these players were supposed to put on the underwear of women recently dead in order to score goals. They were supposed to wear this underwear during the match. It should be noted that Lucifer, who is the god of this world, can take many forms. He has many appearances interchangeably according to the task he is supposed to perform. He is interoperation. If he wants to kill, he appears like a 3-headed lion in order to punish. In that case, he is called the Lion of the 3 heads. But he can also appear as an angel of light to impress the new initiate. On top of that, he can appear as the goat Baphomet with the inverted cross, which is also in Mercedes and the symbol of Greenpeace. In addition, the members of his government use the emblem of the dragon, which is 666. It is the symbol of political power through the Organization of the Nations in the United Nations body. 666 is the mark of the beast representing the Organization of Nations, but apart from the political organization, which is 666, there is also the System 555, the System 777, the System 111. The devil is the master of all these systems. He is the master of the financial and economic system, the master of the political system, and the religious system. Each of these systems is represented by a number. All the systems of this world belong to Satan. The world and all it contains are in the hands of Satan. 1 John 5:19 We know that we are of God, and the whole world lieth in the evil one. There is a telephone network in our country named after Lucifer. After being expelled from heaven, Lucifer had promised God that he will oppose him in all possible ways. This is called the Luciferian conspiracy. Hospitals belong to the devil. The official sign of the medical profession is caduceus. The caduceus is a symbol with a short staff entwined by two serpents, sometimes surmounted by wings, while the rod of Asclepius is the one with a single snake. The similarity between both these symbols is the snake. It is a place of demonic activity. Bowl of Hygeia is a symbol of pharmacy, along with the rod of Asclepius. Hygeia was the Greek goddess of health, hygiene, and the associate, wife, or daughter of Asclepius. Asclepius' symbol is his rod, with a snake twined around it. Correspondingly, Hygeia's symbol is a cup or chalice with a snake twined around its stem. In the aftermath of the world war that took place in the celestial regions, as it is written in Revelation 12:7, and there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back, but they were not the strongest, and their place was no longer found in heaven. The devil had sworn to turn the world against God. The devil has his presence fully in the world, even in architecture and construction. Personally, I have never been to France. But when I was traveling an interdimensional trip, I went to France and the world in astral traveling, and I saw the architecture and the monument of the world of Satan, replicated here on the earth and metropolis like Paris. One of the monuments of the kingdom of Satan is the obelisk, the Louvre Museum that is a pyramid, and the Eiffel Tower which is also a pyramid. All these are pyramids of the kingdom of Pandemonium. One of the entities that govern the spirit world can be seen on the emblem of the European Parliament, even in European money. The devil is even in the dollar. Sacrifice was made so that this money can dominate the world. Chapter 8. Spiritual War and Battle for the Souls of Men. When I was in occultism, I discovered that the Christians were the most mysterious people on earth. I had noticed that when a Christian walks in the street, he is one. But when we approached him to threaten his safety, he becomes two. Another person appeared, who is the angel of the Lord. Christians have the mark and the symbol of Jesus Christ on their foreheads, but they do not know how to use the great power that God has delegated to them. I was a practitioner of Spiritism. I was talking to the dead. Often we went to the cemetery to unearth the dead. The coffin of Christians and their remains are protected by resplendent angels. Whenever a Satanist or a demon comes close to the tomb of Christians, they face angelic opposition. But when a carnal Christian dies and is buried in his sins, he suffers terribly. When a failing pastor dies with sin, his funeral will be transformed into a feast and celebration of demons. In consequence, the demons of all kinds will come to take part in this feast. The victim will be subjected to incredible torture and torment. It would have been better for him not to even be born. The death of a carnal Christian is catastrophic. He will be surrounded by demons of all kinds, that he will be tortured by demons in a cruel way. There is a demon principality that stays in the cemetery. He is the demon who destroys the project and aspiration of people. He works with wandering demons who bring him information about people. This demon principality of the cemetery is voluminous, and he is one giant. He is the one who devours and consumes the flesh of carnal Christians and the bodies of victims who died without Christ. In this war, Christians must learn to control the day through morning prayer. Every day at noon, there is a woman called the Queen of the South who patrols the earth in midday. She is the sovereign of the first heaven. Another demon that patrols the earth at noon and during the day is the Emperor of Death. He controls the hospitals and he drinks blood at the hospital. There is an underworld dimension called the Cro-Magnon world. When this realm opens up, a demon will go out. However, before the closing of the gate of this world, the demon must come back with the soul that he is supposed to capture on the surface of the earth. The devil's greatest weapon is deception. The devil's second weapon is fear. And the devil's third weapon is doubt, because in the Garden of Eden, Eve added to God's word. When a witch comes into the night, he will use the weapon of fear. Once the victim is full of fear, he will then attack. In our country, that is an astral city hidden in the mountain and the hill. The unseen city of witches is called Agartha world. This kingdom of witches is ruled by the river siren called Queen Catherine, a water mermaid. Every time a witch sacrifices a soul to her, she adds the eyes of the victim to the wizard, which is important to the kingdom of darkness because the devil is not omnipresent. There is a witch in every family, every enclosure, every street and neighborhood. This structure is useful to the kingdom of Lucifer, who is not omnipresent. There is a category of demons called wandering spirits. They are humanoid demons but very short. They are the ones who report to the devil all that is happening on earth. They are the informers of the devil. They report to the devil everything that happens in the world. And as I am testifying here, they will report me to Lucifer. They are posted and stationed in public places like the crossroads and roundabouts, even in the markets. They are on the trees, terraces. Avoid eating and talking about your life in the street and roundabouts. These wandering spirits even enter the church during the service, but they leave during worship. There is a category of demons called phalebus. They are massive and heavy. When they are stationed in neighborhoods, they make the people of the district manifest negative and repulsive behavior like vandalism. They provoke recalcitrant behavior. There another powerful demon called Princess Genevieve and the Blitz Bombard. The war and the hostility between the realm of Satan and the church are real. But Christians are not as practical as occultists. When a Christian faces a problem, he is not practical. In fact, he disappears before his problem instead of applying practical instructions from the Bible. My former wife, the mermaid, said to me that Lucifer was created 6,000 years before men, and he is 7 times powerful than average angels. But angels are 7 times more powerful than sirens and mermaids, who are 7 times more powerful than men. God sometimes grants the devil access to his throne. Lucifer is a great and powerful winged cherub when he was in heaven. He was supposed to complete a program in the 7 mountains that represent the 7 knowledge, but he only reached the 3rd level, and he rebelled himself. When there was uprising and revolution in heaven, God knew all things right from the beginning, but he allowed this and revolt to follow its course. The devil started this insurrection and revolution with Beelzebub and Ashtaroth. He was joined by another powerful angel in the name of the Queen of Heaven. This angel is worshipped as Mary in the Catholic and Orthodox churches. Chapter 9. My separation from the mermaid. After having lived with the mermaid for many years, I could not stand this kind of life any longer. Actually, while I lived with this lady of the sea, I could not marry an earthly woman anymore. But at a certain moment, I wanted to get married and have children like everyone else. Actually, I had a wife and children. But when I got married with this lady of the Indian Ocean, she killed my wife and children. As we were living in that 4 years, we had 4 children who were Watamami. They were hybrid, aquatic demons. I had enough of this marriage. And when I told Shanta that I wanted to move on, she was unprepared for this news. So she got angry. She asked me, "Really? Are you serious?" I said, "Absolutely." Shanta was laying on the bed. I was about to sit around her when she blasted me and asked me to stay away from her. She said to me, "Do you think that God will accept you any longer? You are already rejected by God. You are a human, yet you went on to marry a spirit. This is an unnatural union and forbidden relationship. God has already rejected you. He will not accept you." The mermaid said to me, "As you have decided to leave us, let me warn you, you will not tell the world about our secret. You will not reveal our mystery to the world." She said to me, "Okay, I leave you. I could have killed you. But I do not want to kill you. But you're going to suffer because I will dispossess you of everything that I gave you. I will leave you with nothing." After separation, the mermaid took away the wealth and health. As a result, there was a flood of problems of all kinds before me as a result of this separation. Shanta said to me, "It is true that you have decided to leave us, but you must understand that you are ours because all initiates remain members even after they have left." Then this mermaid stamped her seal on my flesh to indicate that I belonged to them, and she said to me, "I could have killed you but I won't. But this is the punishment, you will be bleeding in your mouth and your penis regularly like a woman menstrual." When I separated from the siren, she took the money, the wisdom, and she stamped my flesh with her seal. Immediately after separation from the mermaid, I began to seek deliverance. I paid a visit to a pastor. This pastor tried to deliver me, but the siren Shanta came and counterattacked. As a result, there was a violent battle between the pastor and the mermaid. The glass of the house was broken. There were paranormal manifestations. Few weeks after my separation, I saw a young man who was a wrestler. He came to inform me that accusation is being leveled against me in the pandemonium. Sometime later, I met a Christian who had no experience in deliverance. Considering that she had no experience in these things, she should not have tried to deliver me. It was when she was praying for my deliverance that there was a counterattack. As a result, she became crazy. Then people in the neighborhood captured me. Immediately people called the police and I was arrested. When the authority arrived, they questioned me. I explained to them that she insisted to deliver me, although she had no experience. Then the authority arrested me. After some time they handed me to a prominent man of God in the city. They asked the pastor to deliver me, although I did not agree with that. I was lined up with the others and told to confess our witchcraft. As I was kneeling there, I started doing conjuring. As a result, I got in touch with the mermaid, and she asked, "What is the problem?" I said, "I have been accused of witchcraft, but I am not a witch. I am forced to come to this church for deliverance. This is a humiliation." She said, "Really?" I said, "Absolutely." Then she said to me, "I can only come to the surface of the earth through marriage and covenant. I cannot come personally to assist you because we are divorced. But let me ask my leader Demeter or others so that they can come and assist you and get you out of there." First she reported to the Siren Queen Alida in Brazil. Afterward, she contacted her leader Genevieve. After talking to her leaders, she told me, "Genevieve is coming, but she is actually visiting her partner in your country. Right now she is in the house of a popular musician of your country. Once she is done with him she will attend to your situation and intervene. Genevieve is an underworld siren that is married to one of our musicians." The mermaid Shanta said, "Once she leaves the musician, she will come to help you. Start reciting the prayer of Our Father who art in heaven." This Our Father prayer is said by Satanists as a parody. The Father in this prayer is understood by Satanists to be Lucifer. Immediately I began to recite Our Father who is in heaven. I did it 7 times in the toilets in order to see the result. And she also instructed me to recite specific psalms. In occultism, biblical prayers and biblical passages are misused. After a while I was still in the church when the siren Genevieve arrived. As a result, there was a strong wind blowing in the church. The pastor looked at me, and then she looked up in the air. Actually, the siren demon was suspended in the space. The pastor asked me, "What is in the space?" I replied, "I called for intervention." The pastor replied to me, "She does not have the right to come here. Has she come to fight me?" Then the pastor told me, "As you are not ready, we cannot do the deliverance prayer." As I was suffering from the sanction of the mermaid, I started writing letters so that the dark world could do something. I contacted a friend who meets with the devil frequently to plead for me, but I continued with this suffering. It was when I testified in this YouTube channel that a woman of God in the country of Angola called me and she prayed for me in the name of Jesus. As a result, the bleeding stopped. I was delivered from the chastisement of the mermaid.